I collect spores, molds, and fungus.
Bankman, get a sample of this.
Our guest today is a Bafta award-winning comedian, presenter, and actor, known for hugely successful programs such as Bo Selector, Celebrity Juice, Keith Lemon the Movie, and more. On top of that, he's a talented graphic artist, maker and collector of some awesome film memorabilia, props, and does some fantastic builds through his YouTube channel, Keith Lemon's Doings. Please welcome to the podcast, Mr. Keith Lemon. How are you doing, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, yeah. As we just said, I've had to take my belt off because of Christmas. My yellow tube, but I never know how to stick onto my flight, so it just floats around in the air and hits me in the face. Yeah, my belt seems rather tight after Christmas. So I've taken that off, and I've also taken my cheap props off as well.
Yeah. You can't sit down with those things on your belt.
You can't sit down with anything Ghostbusters related, can you? Really?
They don't show
it's
that.
Very
in the
cumbersome.
film,
I always wanted like a rubber one, just a rubber, because I think they had like squidgy ones, didn't they, in the film?
Yeah, they did.
Like stump one. I've always it is lovely having a big heavy job that makes loads of noises and smoke comes out of it, thanks to proton props. But yeah, I'd like a rubber one for parties.
Yeah,
because that's why I never go as a Ghostbuster to parties.
Well, do you know what? If we go to like a Comic-Con, you've got to be tactical about when you go to the toilet, because a number one's all right. You can open the bottom zip, but going for a number two, that's it. You're ruined.
Well, I just went for a poo before I came on this, and I thought I can't get my suit off, and that's because I didn't take my pads off, my elbow pads, and I forgot. And I said, "Oh yeah, it's cumbersome. Not as cumbersome as a Spider-Man costume, though."
No, I've seen the videos of you in that. That looks, it's unforgiving.
You mean a flight suit? I quite like. It's quite comfortable by itself.
Yeah.
I have many a jumpsuit that I wear for fashion reasons.
Right, okay.
And I've got a Levi jumpsuit that's very similar to a Ghostbusters flight suit. Because as you can see, any Ghostbusters fan listening, well, I'll say watching, if you're watching this, you'll see that I ain't got a proper flight suit on, because my proper one, my better one, don't fit me. So I've got this budget one that I've had for many years, but I have an affection for it because I've had it for many years, and I got this one because it's a comfortable one, but it's not screen accurate at all.
Well, I think, to be fair, with most people's builds, there's elements of non-accuracy with most people's, I think.
Yeah, you've made it yours, haven't you?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think with the Ghostbusters hobby as well, like with the Ghostbusters fandom and people dressing up, the vast majority of people that do dress up with their own name on their name badge as opposed to like the characters, which is quite nice, I think.
I've got a name badge, but it's there it is. I have not put it on. There it is. I've not put it on. For some reason, I'm walking around with Venkman, but you know that I'm not Venkman at all. I don't look out like him.
Now you
I do have a lemon one, which I've not put on, but I will put it on. Just don't have time because I've been building Mogwais and such and doing television.
Those builds are fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
I'm glad you say builds, because I hate the word craft. Because I think suggests string around plant pots and making hanging baskets. I've probably offended anyone of the crafting world. But I guess I'm not a craft. Maybe I'm not as good as a crafter, but I'm a maker. I make things. I'm a mecha.
Yeah,
I'm a mecha. I just recently made another film that was out in 1984, of course, was Gremlins. But I'm making some props from a film that was out in 1989, Gremlins 2. I've just been making Mohawk there.
Oh, that's so cool.
And my offspring said, "Why have you made it in a sort of crouching position?" So it's because I just always remember the image of Mohawk crawling out of the waste paper basket, out of the dustbin, and I like that the best. That's why he's kind of looking up and sort of business.
Well, one of the things that
what's his name as well, Daffy, who is here. This is all good for your podcast. If you listen to this podcast, you can't see anything I'm showing, so that's exciting for you. But if you're watching it, it looks rubbish on camera. It looks better in real life. But there's Daffy. I was getting.
What amazes me when I watched your videos is you start off with what I would consider to be like
a piece of shit.
Do you know what I mean? Junk, absolute junk, and I'm like, there's no way that it's gonna turn out as well as it does. And at the end, I'm like, That's like better than store bought.
All my stuff is made with stuff around me. Again, I'm not a crafter. I'm not a professional or props maker or anything. So I just whatever I can find. I went to Asda today because I'm making a costume. This is weird. I'm making a Gizmo costume. So the head's got to be quite big.
Wow.
So it looks like it's in proportion to how tall I am, I guess. So I went looking for something spherical and plastic and clear that would work for eyes that I could see out of. And I was hoping they'd already have Easter eggs in, because they get Easter comes earlier. All the seasons are early and early. And Easter egg packaging is good for big eyes. Yeah, they didn't have any, so I'm going to make the rest. I'm looking at it now. I'll make the rest of it and just leave the eyes until Easter happens, and then I'll make the eyes.
It won't be long.
Once you've done that costume, please tell me you've got a pink convertible that you can drive up in.
Imagine.
That'd be brilliant.
Oh, that'd be joyous, wouldn't it? That'd be a lot of joy. Yeah.
Oh man,
I don't have one though. I do have an old Barbie car. I do have.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Which I stripped and got new stickers. I don't know if you know Peltzer Pets on Instagram.
I do know Peltzer Pets on Instagram.
Yeah.
Some of the photos he's got are amazing.
Oh, he's amazing. And sometimes he give me his bits that have gone wrong and his offcuts, and I use those sometimes. But yeah, he sent me some stickers for the Barbie car, so it was more screen accurate. Because you know what we like? We're a bunch of twats, aren't we? And we want it as close to the film as possible. It's like a disease. I hate myself sometimes. I think, stop thinking about it. Stop thinking about it. You've got a life. You've got a real life. You've got a job. You've got a family. Stop thinking about Ghostbusters and bloody Gremlins and Back to the Future.
Do you know what? Like, the thing is, when you're building props, like, you've got to step away from it, because 99.9% of other people that see what you built, they're not going to know the difference between whether it's screen accurate or not. But it's just, it's like you say, it's like your own disease. I mean, to my wife, I could say, look at my new proton pack I've made. It looks like a glasses case, but it isn't. Just stick some wires on that and she'll go, oh, yeah, it's good, that. Yeah, she'll have the same level of interest.
But I'll know. But I'll know.
Oh, it's funny.
Yeah.
So when you're doing your builds, obviously a lot of it is 80s film based. What is it, do you think, about the 80s that appeals to you so much?
For me, I guess it's nostalgia. I can remember it like it was yesterday. And it was just, to me, was the golden age of cinema, and that's probably because of my age, I guess.
Yeah.
We had like year after year of real blockbuster where they use. I mean, as you know, Ghostbusters' last film using practical effects. Yeah, and practical effects are very exciting to look at, and all those films use those Gremlins. Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, Teen Wolf. I own the Teen Wolf costume.
Do you know, I was going to talk about this. Yeah.
That's my most prized possession, I guess.
Is it?
Because it's I don't normally collect like actual props from films because I just make them. But my wife bought me that, so I've got a lot of love for that. But yeah, you just regress and think back to those lovely times, don't you?
Mm-hmm. I said before, like in our previous episode, I agree that it's the golden age, and I think it's because, for a number of reasons, I think those type of stories that came out in the 80s, it was the first time those stories had been told. Yeah. And then on top of that, it's the first time those sorts of visual effects had been seen. Yeah. And I just feel like every movie that comes out now is just a variation of a theme that's already come before.
Do you know what no one says now? No one says this when they've seen a film with special effects. Effects were good, weren't they? No one says that.
No.
Because you expect it, don't you?
Yeah. Even when I went...
All the Jurassic Park films now, you go, oh yeah, it better look real.
Yeah.
Even when I went to see Jurassic Park, though, I was sweating. Oh
man, I remember that like it was yesterday. I think for me, when I saw Jurassic Park, the thing that I remember more than anything else.
When you saw what? Dracula Park?
Dracula Park, have you seen it?
Imagine Dracula Park. With loads of Gary Oldmans or Christopher Lees.
A different woman.
You've got a Christopher Lee. Say that again. I've got a Christopher Lee.
Seen Christopher Lee in the side view mirror running after you in the Jeep.
Oh no, there's a pack of Gary Oldmans after me.
So here's a question for you, because obviously, like, when you've done your sketches, you've done a lot of sketches, whether it's been like Back to the Future, you've done Dirty Dancing, there's Ghostbusters, there's all these different sketches. How much of that is actually down to production and you just living out your like childhood fantasy?
It's all really self-indulgent. That's why I was really sad when it was over. We did 2 series. The first one was Dirty Dancing. That was the highest rating show I'd ever done. And we thought, because we when you do a new show, everyone goes, what do you think we're going to get? And we all guessed and stuff. And it was miles higher than we thought it was going to be. And then luckily enough, we got another series. But the second series was against loads of things. It was against the Queen's birthday. It was against Eurovision. They took us off for a week and put Millionaire on. So ratings weren't as good as the first series. And it was a really expensive show, as you can imagine, because some of the episodes, we'd have like 16 sets. And we probably reused a couple of them. I think we used, when we did Grease, we reused the front of Sandy's house for Gremlins. But a lot of the stuff, we couldn't reuse it, so we just binned. And it's just too expensive for someone like me who's quite a risk for ratings, because I'm a bit odd and naughty. You can't always guarantee it working. So they didn't do a third one. I was really upset. And Paddy always says, it'll come back one day, son, or Florin. Sometimes he calls me Florin. Don't know what that means. But it'll come back someday, Florin, whilst he's off driving around world in cars. And but I don't think it'll come back in the format that it was in, because like I say, it was expensive, and budgets for telly are getting smaller and smaller, especially for more unique things like me. Budgets they save the budgets for the big event shows like Britain's Got Talent and such. And so I don't think it'll come back in that format, but I'd love to do another movie-based program, or again, some sort of, I don't want to say crafting, but a meching show where I mech things, which that is already in development now. Nice. As we're speaking right now, it's not being pitched anywhere, but it is in development.
Do you know what? Mark and I were talking the other day, actually, and we're saying that what we thought would be a really great idea would be, do you remember Scrap Heap Challenge?
Yeah.
So you should do like a scrap heap challenge, but basically you flash up a picture of a gremlin, and then everyone's got like an hour to go and forage the bits and find something to make what is shown on there. That'd
a lot of people keep saying to me, "Why remember Take Heart or Art Attack? Why don't you do a grown-up version of that?" I mean, what does an adult version they say? And what's an adult version? I make gremlins with my dick out. What does that mean? An adult version? And but basically, what I have got in development, it's not a challenge show as such, or a competition. I didn't want to do a competition because I want to go and meet other people that make things, that people that are better than me, so I can learn off them and stuff. And and like meet like professionals, like, I don't know, for example, someone who made Chewbacca's head in Star Wars, and like ask him how much it costs to make and everything. And obviously it'd be thousands, and they go, right, I'm going to try and make one for 30 quid and stuff like that. And me in a studio making things. And then at the end of the show, I'd probably do something silly with it. Like, like if I make an ET, we'll pop it in a basket on a BMX and see if it can fly by throwing him off the cliff or something. So I'm building it for a purpose to do something with it at the end of the show. But like meeting people and seeing their stuff that they make, because there's some people on YouTube who make incredible stuff, like life-size AT-ATs in the garden and stuff.
Oh, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. And telly's always trying to tap into that world. But it's all there. It's just there already.
But that seems like such a contradiction, because on one side they're saying the budgets are getting smaller, but then they're trying to tap into that world at the same time. It's kind of like make your mind up.
Yeah. And a lot of people, proton pack builders out there as well. And that's always interesting, how people's different methods as well.
Yeah.
I mean, and they'll start off by saying it's too niche. I once, when we pitched Keith and Paddy Picture Show, we got told it was too niche. And at that time, they had Splash, I think it was called, on telly, the diving program. Yeah. And in this meeting, I said, it's too niche. I said, okay. I said, apart from Tom Daly, give me the name of another professional diver. Fuck off, right. Keith. Fuck off. But it's true. I said, everyone's seen I said 99% of the world has seen a film, loves a film, and dislikes a film.
Yeah.
I said, it's not niche at all.
Like I don't see how they can say it's niche when you've got films that are like become like cult classics. Do you know what I mean? Where memorabilia is still being produced even now for films that came out 30, 40 years ago. You can't say that's niche.
Well, The Lost Boys was one of the films that we want. I'm a big Lost Boys fan. That was one of the films that we wanted to do in the first series. And they said, it's too underground. I went, but you can go and buy a Lost Boys t-shirt now when it came out in 87. You can go buy one from a shop.
Yeah.
You know? Well, they're making a Lost Boys musical, apparently. You know, it's still very much there. But then even like meching stuff, I'm sure that's what the hurdle that I'm going to come across when we're pitching that. I'll go, it's a bit niche, isn't it? Because in this craft show, if it ever happens, craft's like a dirty word, isn't it? Meching show,
not craft.
Build, I say build. You know, I'll only want to make films that are from pop culture, I guess. Yeah. So people at home that are not that interested in meching things, they'll go, oh yeah, that does look like E.T. I can see that's E.T. Rather than putting string around a hanging basket. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're in. I mean, I would imagine you're probably at that point in your career now, anyway, where you really only want to do things that you want to.
Yeah. Well, I've always that's all I've ever done. That's all I've ever done anyway. But yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Because you're into pop culture and movies and things like that. Have you ever been to a Comic-Con, or is it something that like you'd like to go to, but you just fear that you're going to get accosted yourself while you're there?
I peaked too soon. I went to the first Comic-Con I went to was San Diego Comic-Con. So I peaked too soon. Yeah. So when I went to another Comic-Con in the UK, I went,
Yeah. Bradford Miners Club.
as lovely as it wasn't San Diego. But I went to San Diego Comic-Con and it blew my mind. And I went with my kids and my wife and we all dressed up. And then the second day, she says, I'm going to take kids to the zoo. Do you want to go to Comic-Con by yourself? Like,
yeah.
But it was just wonderful. It was wonderful. And lucky enough, Jonathan Ross was there at the same time. So I met with him and had a few beers. And he was doing a panel. He was hosting a panel for The Walking Dead, I think he was. That's what he was doing. But yeah, there's this street and it's all these themed bars. So there's like a superhero bar. There's a Ghostbusters bar where they got Ecto 1 packed up outside. Inside, there's nobody not dressed as a Ghostbuster. And they're all different qualities. There's someone that looked amazing. And then there'll be some sort of overweight bread eater that's wearing his wife's sexy Ghostbusters costume from Ruby's.
Ruby's,
sort of costume.
With an inflatable backpack.
Yeah. And they're still just getting involved, aren't they? Don't matter how good or bad it is, they're getting involved.
Yeah, that's the best part about it. Just people free to be what they want to do, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a lovely experience. But Jonathan Ross said to me, he said, when Comic-Con's not on in San Diego, it's quite dead. It's quite quiet. But whilst Comic-Con's on, it is heaving and it's ace. And you see some ace sights. I followed this guy who looked like a real superhero. I couldn't recognise the costume. Whereas all made out of orange leather. And he were all beaten up as well. And I just followed him just because he was walking around looking for crime to stop. But yeah, it's all sorts of people out there. It's fantastic. And I went to Birmingham Comic-Con. I was doing a panel there for Keith and Paddy Pitch Show. Paddy couldn't be bothered going, but said I'll go because I'll probably buy some as well. And I thought I'll get recognised there, obviously, because it's in Birmingham. So I dressed as Teen Wolf.
You did
and then someone recognised me.
Oh, you're joking?
Yeah, I knew him though.
That's all right.
Oh man, you did a bit of an Adam incognito, like Adam Savage.
Yeah. It's funny how they always recognise him, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, some people, but I reckon because he probably
is it because his costumes are too good.
Yeah, it looks like it's come off set.
Yeah.
The guy.
That's Adam Savage for anyone who don't know, but you probably do know.
Yeah.
You saying Adam like you know him? I went to school with him.
Just a mate. Do you know what I mean? I wish he'd stop calling. If I'm completely honest. Here's a question. When you did Bo Selector, did you have a hand in any of the mask making or builds or anything like that?
Originally, they were just masks that I bought from a joke shop and cut them up and drew bits on.
Right.
Craig David's mask was a Bill Clinton mask with a beard drawn on it.
Was it really?
Mel B's mask is Prince Charles' mask, just to the top cut off, and then that big curly wig. The Michael Jackson mask I just bought from a joke shop in Blackpool, and I was away with the people I worked with then, and we went up the Blackpool Tower, and I just put it on and did Michael Jackson, and they all laughed. And I'll do that then. I just would buy masks and stick bits on, really, and I made the first bear out of a fur coat I bought in Camden.
Really?
Yeah, and then as it got busier and busier, I didn't have time to make stuff really. But even now I'll make like shit versions of things and go to whoever. Well, now it's a guy called Reza that does a lot of our stuff, who's an incredible makeup artist and prop maker. But I'll make stuff out of cardboard and just show him it and go, "Can you make this?" But as good how you make it. But he's amazing. He's been doing it since he was 19. He's about 115 now. He wouldn't appreciate me saying that. But his first job was on Labyrinth.
Wow.
He worked on Batman 89. He gave me a little piece of Jack Nicholson's face. Joker. Wow. When he handed it to me, it looked like a rubber vagina.
Actually, Jack Nicholson's face.
I thought it was a vagina. And then I turned the angle of it, and then as soon as I turned it to face angle, it's Joker. And he said, "I've had it for I don't know how long in a glass box," and he says, "You'll appreciate it more than me because you'll put it on your shelf and show your mates."
Yeah.
So, yeah. And but yeah, he worked on the last Jurassic World. He made the Dilophosaurus.
Oh wow!
So I'm always in awe in everything he makes, and now and again he'll go, "Do you want me to make you something?" He actually, last time I worked with him, we did Mandy and Myrtle when I played Amanda Holland's Gran. Yeah. He did that makeup as well, and during that he says, "Do you want me to make you something at the end of this? Let me know. Have a good think about it." But he still hasn't made me anything. If you're listening, Reza.
Come on,
we'll just get everyone to bombard him with the link to the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's amazing. He does all our stuff now.
Wow, that's awesome. I just want to sit with him for hours and probably ask him loads of questions about everything.
He's quite blasé about it, you know, because to him it's his job.
Yeah.
And I often wonder why he'll turn jobs down and work with me. Because I think he got offered Star Wars and he said, "I'll come and work with you," because he's his own boss. Yeah. If he's doing something like that, he's with a lot of different people, you know what I mean? If he's doing stuff with me, it's him at home bringing stuff in and go, "There you go," and I'll go, "Can you make chin bigger?" That sort of stuff.
A lot less stress.
A lot.
Yeah.
Way less.
And he comes on set and has a laugh, and sometimes we drag him in. He was in Mandy and Myrtle actually. He played the kebab shop owner.
Wow. So with all your stuff that you make, then, like, do you keep everything that you make? Because I know that when I watch your videos, obviously we see like your crafting studio area where you're building on your table, but do you have like a whole separate room where you keep everything? Or?
I'm in it now, and it's a mess. And my wife will come in and just shake her head. It's a total mess at the minute. Yeah, I'm surrounded by stuff. I made Krampus at Christmas. There's Krampus.
Oh wow.
That's awesome.
And there's the little bear. What's he called? Klaus or something? I can't remember. There's Krampus there, and so it looks pretty rubbish, but it's nice because it can move. It's got wire in it. I was really chuffed with that, and he's got his brains at the back. No, actually, if you're just listening to this, it looks amazing. But again, everything always looks better in real life, I think. There's an Ewok that I made over Christmas as well. I'm showing you things. It's not good for your podcast, me just showing things.
I'm just looking at that. That would take me not just over Christmas, but months to produce something like that, and you've done it over Christmas.
Well, people say to me, "How long does it take?" If I'm not doing the school run, and if I don't have to sort the dog out, and if I don't have to pick so and so up from the station, I say it takes about a day because I don't like to spend a lot of time on things because I get bored and I go, "Oh, that'll do. It looks like it. That'll do." And it's the same when I'm drawing. Sometimes I'll have a drawing half finished. And I go, "No, it's supposed to look like that," because I've got bored. There, it's done. I'm not doing anymore. You could spend hours and hours and hours, but when you're making a Mogwai and you've got to do 2 feet and the 2 hands, you're like, oh, that'll do.
Yeah.
That'll do. And then you go, what am I making it for anyway?
It's
I made an ET over 20 years ago. I made an ET, which I have used in a sketch. We did, I think it was Keith Lemon's sketch. Oh, no, it was Keith Lemon coming in America.
Right, okay.
And we did a sketch about ET coming back. And Elliot was a grown-up, and ET was like drinking a lot of beers, and he was getting prostitutes in and stuff, and doing other things with his finger that not just lighty-uppy. So we used my ET for that I made about 20 years ago. So it was worth making. I wasn't out of my mind just making things for the sake of it. But I just make things and put it on a shelf. And when my mates come over, I go, look at that. And he goes, oh yeah, you prick. Do you want a beer? Yeah, all right then.
Are they not into it either? Is it just?
I'm trying to think out of my mates who collect things. So celebrity-wise, because people go, oh, you're celebrity mates. But you don't think of them as celebrities when you know them. It's the only celebrities are people you don't know. So Paddy collects a few hot toys, as does Gino. And Gino likes a lot of Japanese robots as well. None of them make things. Obviously, Jonathan Ross collects stuff in abundance, but mostly Japanese stuff. I don't think he's that interested in any of my stuff. He's like 70s Japanese stuff that he's into.
My
but I don't know anyone who makes things.
My Christmas project that I've just completed was I got one of the Nerf guns and kind of converted that into pulse rifle. So that was
that's good.
And
I think I saw that on your Instagram page. Yeah.
I
like doing that. I like buying existing things and customize them to look like. This
bit here, which I don't know what that is. I suppose it's like the shell release catch or whatever.
Yeah.
This is actually part of a Cadbury's biscuit tin that I ate over Christmas.
Good.
Repurposed it into it.
Good.
Yeah. Use what you've got.
I was at Smith's the other day for no reason, but I walk into every toy shop I see. And they had some really nice alien toys. And they were on sale for like 10 quid and stuff. And I thought, shall I buy some and paint them so they look real instead of bright green?
Yeah.
Because they're all silly colours. But they look like good moulds and stuff, good sculpts. And they're still toy-like, but if you painted them up, they could look really cool.
I think that's a lot of the issues with a lot of stuff you get. Sometimes, like you say, like the molds are pretty good, but the paint jobs are like poor. Like I was looking at a face hugger, and the mold looks decent, but the paint job literally just looks like that'll do.
What's that? A NECA one?
No, it wasn't actually. It was a who was it that did it? Now it was part of like a limited edition set that came out. I have to try and find a link and send it.
Was that a toy?
Yeah, it was like a posable rubber one that came out. It looks really nice.
I guess there's more simplistic because the toys for kids, aren't they? Not for full-grown adults. Adults with pubes everywhere. They're for kids, aren't they? But us dickheads still buy it. Something just fell in the background.
I think it's one of my posters. I think. There you go. Edit that out. Oh man, did you do any 3D printing or anything yourself?
No, it looks really complicated to me. I mean, it looks special. It looks really good, but no, I've never done any of that.
I think it's either. I don't think it's that complicated. I think it's either if you do the FDM printing with it moving around, it can be a little bit complicated. Yeah. Or you go down the resin route, which is really good quality, but it's messy.
I don't know anything about it. I mean, I've only just got into like in sculpting in lockdown. It's the first time I picked up some clay and had a little go. And my missus has noticed I've got better and better as I've gone along. But I said, it's just like drawing, but in 3D.
Yeah.
Sculpting, I find. And the more I do it, the more handy I'm getting at it. That's a good way to blow your own trumpet without blowing your own trumpet. Yeah, I'm getting pretty handy at it.
So when you bought the Proton pack, and I know that when on your video on YouTube there, you were doing a comparison between a pack that you already had against the Proton Props pack. So, like, what did you build that first pack yourself? Like, what was your
first
decision
one I
to
made?
Say...
First one I made was cardboard.
Okay,
all cardboard, and I'd seen a few being made on YouTube, and I thought I can do that. And but also you buy you get a few bits from B&Q that look like bits from a Proton pack and stick them on with a hot glue gun, and bits kept falling off it, and I thought I want a proper one, And Proton Props kindly said to me, I'll make you one. Oh, no way. He went, yeah. And I said, well, I'm hosting a screening of the new Ghostbusters Afterlife at Showcase Cinema because I'm an ambassador for them. I said, why don't you come along? And if you can make it in time for that, I'll wear it there. And he did. And this was whilst Hasbro Plus were bringing theirs out as well. And I didn't pre-order one because I knew Proton Props was making me one. Mm-hmm. And it is incredible. It is incredible. I mean, I think that Hasbro Plus one looks amazing. And I bet it's a lot lighter than mine. But the heaviness is part of the deal, isn't it? You know what I mean?
It is. You need that to pretend with everything.
Yeah. And smoke comes out of it, and it plays all the songs from Ghostbusters, and it's got all your lights and whistles and bells on it, and it feels real in your hand.
Yeah.
I think he does an amazing job. And so I was, and then one Halloween, my kids were like, "Let's all go as Ghostbusters." So I bought them some of those blue little plastic Hasbro ones, which are way too small.
Yeah,
and painted that up to. It's over there. Hold on. There's a shopping crook me ass. So that's what I did to
that's
one of those little blue ones. You've seen those little blue ones, yeah?
Yeah. In actual fact, that particular type of pack, when you did the video for us for the Make-A-Wish earlier on in the year, we converted one of those to give to him on the day. Actually,
did you?
Well. So yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even. I mean, my kids don't notice that sticker's there. They don't know what this is.
I'm not a true fan,
but you do.
But I mean, it did two of those. It only took a day, and then do a school run. So you can buy shit stuff, can't you, and make it look better? And that's a lot cheaper because it's expensive, isn't it?
It is.
Do you know what? As well, the thing is with the Hasbro Pulse one. I thought about getting one, but then I thought I'll just end up being a dickhead and saying, well, I want to change this out, I want to change that out. And then you're just going to start going down that route again. So I just thought, no, I'll leave it.
Do you know anyone who's got one?
We've got one guy in our group who's actually just got the notification today that it's shipped. So
it's still not even shipped?
I know, yeah. People in the UK seem to have got them a lot quicker than everyone else in the States from what I've seen online.
Yeah, well, do you like Chucky?
Yeah, I do like Chucky. Yeah,
I've just ordered the Trick or Treat Studios Ultimate Chucky.
Yeah,
and that's coming tomorrow apparently, and that's not out in America yet. That's weird.
Yeah, it's crazy. Also, which is strange because normally when it comes to Ghostbusters specifically, in actual fact, just anything, America always gets the good stuff, and we get left behind. So it's crazy.
How much was a Hasbro Pulse one again?
I think. How much was it, Mark? I think it was about
450.
450. I mean, it's pretty cheap. I mean, in comparison, I mean, if my wife asked me, my pack didn't really cost that much, but in reality, it was probably quite a bit.
It did.
That's the good thing because
a bunch of virgins.
But I'm happy.
Yeah, isn't it weird? You sort of get to a certain age and you just go backwards.
You think, fuck it.
Go backwards. Yeah. Well, and also you buy everything that you didn't have when you were a kid.
Well, that is 100% true. And I just think it just, it reminds you of.
Why didn't they have proton packs when we were kids? Those real Ghostbusters blue ones. They were shit.
I didn't even have that. I think Halloween when I was a kid was like bin bags and something else.
I didn't like real Ghostbusters.
Did you not get into it? No,
I didn't like it at all. Didn't like it.
I think for someone my age, it was a little bit better because I was 2.
Oh, were you?
When I got into it.
Oh, you must have thought it was amazing then. I'm an old man, you see, and I thought, what's that shit Ghost? That's not in the film.
Yeah, I think I was about 9 or 10 when that came out. And I liked it, but it wasn't a major component for me, to be honest.
I liked that it was Ghostbusters and that was the end. It was like, I felt like I had to like it, the same as when you buy an album of a band that you're not into anymore, but you've always bought all their albums, so you still buy it even when you don't like it. You know what I mean? I've got a couple of real Ghostbusters bits, but only because it's Ghostbusters. I'm not really a fan of it, really.
Yeah, I've got a couple of bits, but primarily just probably because I'm going to sell them next year once they're no longer on offer anymore, if I'm completely honest with you.
Yeah. I'm not
But,
particularly a fan of Ghostbusters 2 either.
Are you not? I see.
No. I don't like Gremlins 2 either. And I only
Yeah, I'm
like
not-
them because it's Gremlins. And I only
Yeah.
like it because it's Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
But I wasn't feeling it. I did like Afterlife, though.
Yeah, I did. I thought it
Yeah.
was really good.
Yeah.
And we were quite fortunate that we went down to I think they call it like a multimedia showing or something like that.
Yeah.
And Jason and Ivan Reitman were there and did the intro and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So that was really nice to do, especially since obviously, you know, Ivan passed away not long afterwards.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
as a Ghostbusters fan, that was.
I've got a signed poster.
Have you?
Yeah. They sent me it, which was insane.
Wow.
They sent me a wand and a poster, and then that was very kind of them. That's one of the perks of being me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, get all this free stuff.
Yeah, and sometimes you know other people get it sent and that are not into it that I know and go, "Do you want this?" So and so sent me it. Oh, yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so. Yeah, it's so cool. I mean, I think probably one of the reasons, like you say, like I collect a lot of like 80s stuff. Is like you say, it takes you back to a better time. I wish they told you
nice
that they were the good
place.
old days. Yeah. I wish that you knew that they were the good old days when you were in the good old days. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you wouldn't have sold your Star Wars figures, would you then?
Well, do you know
They
what?
still have them.
My mum is going to probably kill me. Well, she's probably not listening, so she doesn't care. But it's an ongoing thing where I can remember I saved all my Star Wars figures, and they were in the attic. And then I got to about, I don't know, 20 years old. So this was like very early 2000s, and I went back home and I was like, oh, I'm going to get all my Star Wars figures out because I'm going to sell them now. Bang them on eBay, I get quite a bit of that.
Yeah.
She's like, oh no, I threw those out about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, literally, and when I say everything, like the Ewok village, the Attack, everything just binned. So even now,
I didn't know.
Yeah,
I remember I was 11 and I was a very early start on me. I liked ladies, very young.
Yeah,
and I thought, well, I'm selling my Star Wars figures. I want to buy some clobber and some special clobber that's going to detract the attention away from my orange hair. And and then so I sold them Star Wars figures. I can remember Star Wars figures. I had a box of 64, and I said to my mum, because she was helping me sell them in the newspaper, because she put me in newspaper back then, and they were a pound each. They were a pound each. I said. And I came home one day. She went, "I've sold you Star Wars figures." I went, "Oh, have you? That's amazing." And she went, "Yeah, I sold the whole box for a tenner." I went, "You fucking bitch!" I didn't go, "You fuck." Imagine telling your mum she's a fucking bitch. There's no way I said that. I didn't know those words. And oh, mum, you dingbat.
Yeah. Just crushing disappointment.
A quid each, mum. But
a bloke
and also, yeah. Also, I can remember when I was a kid. Wanting this gremlin figure, and I think it was £7.95, and my mum said, "I can't afford it." I said, "Well, and can I just have my pocket money for how much that is? I'm got £1.50 a week or something, and you don't have to give me pocket money for that amount of weeks." She went, "No, I ain't got the money." And okay, well, I'll save up then. She went, "Okay," so I saved up. I went to the toy shop. And they didn't have it anymore. That's how long it took me to save up. And they didn't have it anymore. And then when I moved to London, I'd been in London a few years, and I saw it at some old toy shop that sold secondhand toys. And I bought it for 78 quid. And I phoned my mum. I went, "No, remember that figure that was £7.95? I just bought it for 78 quid. Not even in a box."
Yeah. I'll send you an invoice.
And then I started getting addicted to eBay. Which opened up many doors, and I stopped buying stuff from shops. I can remember, I bought that Gremlin again in the box for about a good price, for about £34. For this person doesn't know what it is, do they? Which is nice.
I tell you one thing that you've got that I'm really envious of, because I missed out on it when it was on the website, is you've got an awesome Ghostbusters jacket with the Terror Dogs on the front, and
yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? From
yeah,
Middle of Beyond.
That's the one.
Did they not sell it anymore?
I don't think so. Not when I last looked, unless they've restocked it, in which case I'll have to jump on it. But yeah, that's a cracking jacket, that is.
And it's reversible, and when you reverse it, it's black, and it's got Slimer on the back.
Yeah, so cool.
It's hard to decide how to wear it, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
It is.
I've got
a Teen Wolf one as well, which is probably the best jacket I own.
Do you ever wear the Screed used Teen Wolf jacket, or is it
no, because
it's
shit.
Display?
It's shit jacket. It's a blue corduroy jacket. It's rubbish. and it's a bit tight. It's for Michael J. Fox, and he's a bit smaller than me.
Yeah.
But I love that I have it. It really excites me on the morning when I go into my room of shame, and it's all there, and I go, "Wow, I love that film, and I own a piece of it." You know,
That's incredible. I
display?
think when you get.
Do you
What was
keep
that,
on
Mark,
display
sorry?
in your room of shame? Is it like?
I have a room of shame which is filled with toys, movie toys. It means nothing to anyone apart from to me, I guess. And it's funny when I have people round who I don't know that well. I'll go, "Do you want to see my room?" And let's see if we're still friends afterwards. But it's just all TV and movie stuff.
I like being in that environment because I find I'm like a lot more creative and I can think better when I'm in an environment.
Yeah, when I go in there to get ideas,
Yeah.
I just have a little walk around and look at stuff, and I go, "Right, I've got an idea."
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, it inspires me. It's the same with. I've still got all my DVD collection, and I've got a wall of them, and I just look at them when I've run out of ideas. I go, "I know what I'll do." It inspires you. All of it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So in terms of 2023, then have you got any plans of things that you want to build? Anything on the agenda?
I'll probably, because I've done 2 of those Mogwais from Gremlins 2, I'll probably make the other 2, George and Lenny, just so they're all there, all 4 of them. I'm making that Gizmo costume. There's a few things because people keep saying to me, because I keep posting it now. I never used to tell anyone. But when I post like creative stuff, I get much more of a positive feedback than if I post anything else, which is weird. And not you might post like a sketch or something, and people go, "You're not funny anymore. You're shit," on all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But when I post something that I've made, people go, "Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Aren't you talented?" I go, "Yeah, I've got 2 Baftas." And but yeah, you know, I am at a stage in my life where I do want to do something different, and I want to go down that road, do some sort of making show, but do it humorously. You don't have to be straight, you know what I mean? You still can be a bit silly. And often when you do a straight show, silly, people laugh at it more than a full-on comedy show because they're not expecting it. They're expecting like a straight show. I was like, when we were doing Through the Keyhole, people would say, "Oh, it's so funny," and I go, "Is it?" Because that's me. That's me doing my nearest to straight presenting.
Yeah.
You got a long way to get to Lloyd Grossman level, though.
Yeah. But I guess that's. I'll never be a total straight presenter because I'm daft, and I prefer to be like that. If I'm honest, I don't take much things serious anyway.
I think if you went down to be a straight presenter anyway,
I could get bored.
Well, I just think I think you'd come across as like not being authentic because everybody knows who you are. And
well, it's constantly fuck about. I just mess about all the time. I can't help it. That's like a disease as well. Just pissing about. Because I'm childish. Because I'm childish.
Nothing wrong with that.
When everyone goes, "You're sort of puerile," I go, "Yeah, no."
I've had that at work. I've cracked jokes at work before, and people are like, "You are disgusting," but in my head, I think
well, it's just a joke. Don't mean any harm.
You got to be very careful in this climate now, though. Unfortunately.
Oh yeah. You've got to second guess it all the time. The last Celebrity Juice we did, everything that came in my head, I thought, I better not say that, and just be nice. Get it done. Come off stage, have a little cry, then go get pissed with Emily Atack, but not as pissed as her.
Oh man,
I think we've lost Dan. Oh, that's
fine.
Yeah.
It's paused.
How did the last episode of Celebrity Juice go? He's back. Go on, Dan. We missed you then for a minute.
Sorry.
Matt just asked how the last Celebrity Juice went. Yeah, it was wonderful. We did 2 episodes that day. One a proper episode. One of them was a compilation show. So I was running over to one studio, doing links for that, then running back to the Juice set and doing a run through for that bit. Then they go, "We've got to set that game up," which is I might as well go back and do those links for that other show. So run back there, do links for that. Then run back there, but all the way through the day, just in a daze, thinking, "Oh, this is the last time I'm going to say the scores at the end of this round are." And I didn't feel tearful, not until the end. I came off stage, hugged my wife because she works on it, and then just looked back at the set and then just flooded, and it was so weird because I didn't expect that to happen. And luckily, I had a big hat on because all the audience was still there, so I just tipped my hat so they couldn't see me crying. and then walked off. Even though I'm a modern man and I'll cry in front of people, I am bothered. But it just shocks me, I guess. It threw me that I teared up.
That program has produced so many funny moments. Like for me, the best moment of Celebrity Juice, where even when I think about it now, it makes me laugh, is when you had Philip Schofield and Holly Willoughby on that green screen with their faces with the porn picture.
Oh,
that is it's still one of the funniest things.
People say, "Who's your favourite guest?" And I always just say when I've got mates on in real life, because it was an amazing gift to do that show and have mates on, or sometimes just make friends on that show.
Yeah.
I made a lot of friends on that show, but when I had friends on, it was just like a night in a pub or something. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's not work.
Yeah, and I guess I got tearful because when I look back at it, I was at Celebrity Juice for 14 years, which is longer than I was at school.
Yeah.
So it is a big chunk of my life, and someone's going about, do you think it's defined your career? I said, totally defined who I am. I'll always be from Celebrity Juice, I guess, no matter what I'm doing, you know.
I saw you also did the video recently as well of Avid Marion, where he's come to 2023 and it's shit. Yeah. It's the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was a pilot we did. I can't talk too much about it because it might turn into other things as well.
Yeah.
But we did a pilot, and it was lots of fun to be Avid Marion again.
Yeah.
It was weird being in the street dressed as Avid Marion, wearing the exact same clothes that I had on 20 years ago. Because I had our wardrobe department, Heather. She said, "You haven't still got that T-shirt, have you?" I went, "I fucking have you." I got a box full of Avid T-shirts that I used to wear back then. And so I still had the same clothes. And in the street, people were coming up to me calling me Keith when I was Avid Marion. And it was weird because I can remember the transition from Avid to Keith. Yeah. And people calling me Avid when I was Keith.
Yeah.
But I'm total confusion for everyone always.
I bet. Do people think where does obviously you've got Keith Lemon as a persona and you've got Avid Marion as a persona. Where do they?
I don't know. I am. Do
they go? Is it
apparently I'm Venkman.
That's it. Be Venkman today.
Because I often wonder do they think are you being Keith Lemon now, or are you just being Lee Francis?
Some people
being a
call
bit of a dick?
me.
What are you?
Yes, all of the above.
Yeah.
I'm schizophrenic, and I just switch.
Oh my.
Yeah, don't let anyone know.
Excellent.
Well, yeah, Keith, thank you so much for coming on today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
It's been fun. It's been fun. It's nice to talk to like-minded people.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we ever have any events or anything like that, of course we'll send you an open invitation, and you're more than welcome.
Thanks very much.
At some point, I'll be knocking on your door to come and see that creative room of yours.
A room of shame.
Yeah,
we've all got one.
But
yeah.
That's great. So, thank you for coming on. It's been fantastic.
All right, then. Nice one, all best. Cheers.
Nice one.
Thank you.
Cheers. Have a good one.
Cheers.